Oh, Liz has been traveling with me on the road in our group for a long time, and but she's been in the program a year now, and she's been just very easy to have in the program, and we just thank God for her and the changes that He's made in Liz's life. So Liz, tonight I present to you your certificate of graduation from Western Michigan Teen Challenge, and the Lord bless you. Take the time to share with us that.
Okay, I hope y'all are comfortable because I've got like the longest testimony ever. Pastor gets mad at me when I talk fast though, so I'm going to just try to take my time. I grew up in a loving, just an amazing Christian home. My mom was the director of the children's church, the children's choir. My dad, he's an elder now, he was a deacon at the church at the time. So I knew what was right and wrong, but I had also grown up I was a professional ballet dancer. I had gone to a school of fine arts and had just been a trained classical professional ballet dancer. And but the school and the ballet separated, and I transferred to a Christian high school where I met Rachel. And if y'all don't know Rachel, she's Pastor John's wife, and she's my best friend. And that's where I met Rachel. And we didn't do any drugs or anything when we were in high school, but when we graduated, we got a job at a pharmacy. And we got the bright idea that we would make more money if we just sold the pills versus the pharmacies that sold the pills. And so that's what we did. And so, of course, we started taking them and everything, too. And, you know, life was just one big party for us. And we had fun at the time, but fun quickly turned into something that neither of us could control. I actually left and went off to college, and I took my problem with me, and I was doing all kind of prescription medication, but I quickly got addicted to Oxycontin, and I couldn't go to class if I didn't have this drug. I couldn't do anything without it, and it just got to be so stressful on me, and I knew I did not want to live like that, but I didn't know how to tell my parents, who I just love and respect so much, that I had this problem. And so my brother found out about a place called a methadone clinic, and I'm sure y'all know what it is, but it's designed to, get you off of any kind of opiate. And if you take it the right way, it works. I had detoxed off of it once, but it's also just a legal way to get, drugs. And that's what I did, and I got addicted to that. And while I was at the clinic, I met a guy, and we became engaged, and he seemed normal at first. But the longer I was with him, I just realized he was, I don't really know how to describe this guy. He was just psychotic, basically. He was very violent towards animals. Just a lot of red flags went up. And so I broke the engagement off with him. And he got really angry at me. And I have no memory of anything that happened, but I'm told by detectives that he called one night and said that he was going to kill himself if I did not go over there. And so in an attempt to try to help him, I went over there, and he gave me a drink. And it had the drug GHB in it, and it's colorless, odorless. I had no clue it was in my drink, and it caused me to pass out. And when it did, he put something over my face and suffocated me. And when I was no longer breathing, he called the paramedics and told them that I had overdosed and to come get me. And he just left me in his apartment, took all my money, and just left me there. And the police got there first. And they checked me, and my pupils were completely fixed and dilated. I had no heartbeat, and they just pronounced me dead on arrival. And they just stepped over me and started processing it as a crime scene. And the paramedics got there, and they immediately started to try to resuscitate me. And they did so all the way to the hospital. And while I was on the way to the hospital, my parents were called. And they weren't told what was wrong with me. They were just told immediately to get to the emergency room. And when they got there, nothing had changed. They had been working on me all the way to the hospital, but nothing had changed. After 20 minutes, they were told by their supervisor that they had to quit working on me because you cannot go that long without a heartbeat or oxygen to your brain because you'll be brain dead. And so they were told to quit trying to resuscitate me, but they worked on me the entire way. And so when my parents got to that, they took me to that little room, where, when you're being taken there, that the news is not good. And they were told that I had not survived. And my dad just fell into his face and just started begging God just to spare my life, to take his, just to spare mine. And in James it says that the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous man availeth much. And Dad, I believe God moved mountains when he heard you. I went 57 minutes and 37 seconds with no heartbeat at all. But, and after that, they had broke all the ribs, all the ribs in my chest, and they had shocked me several times with a defibrillator. And going just shy of an hour, they were able to pick up a faint heartbeat. But the stress that it caused on my body, I had a massive heart attack 2 days later. And I was on complete life support, and my parents were told that it was not a survivable event, that you can't go that long without a heartbeat or without oxygen to your brain. And yeah, so they, you know, it was my parents' worst nightmare. They were told that they had to make plans to start harvesting my organs to other donors, and I just can't imagine what y'all went through, you know. But they kept me on life support because they just didn't want to, you know, they didn't want to give up on me, and they prayed the entire time. They had our entire church there praying, but it still just, it kind of got worse. And after being on life support for 2 weeks, well, I had started doing this posturing where I was clenching my fist, and the nurse said, no, that's it's a type of posturing that your body does to show severe brain damage, and they just said I was not going to survive this, but if I did, that I would be in a permanent vegetative state for the rest of my life. And so after about 2 weeks on life support, you know, my parents had to make the decision that they were going to take me off. And my brother had stayed back at the hospital with me, and he was holding my hand, and he was just crying and just begging me. He was like, if you can hear me, squeeze my hand, do something, you know, don't let him do this. And sure enough, I started to squeeze his hand, and he went and got the nurse and told her what I was doing, and she said, no, that's just an involuntary movement that your body does right before it dies. And she went back, and I started squeezing his hand again, and sure enough, that was the beginning of my recovery, and I started to come to. Yeah, God is good, but it was a long recovery. I had to go to occupational therapy, speech therapy, behavioral therapy. I had to learn how to do everything all over again. I was like a newborn child. I had to learn how to walk again and how to talk again. I couldn't talk for the longest time. I could only make sounds. I had to walk with a walker for a very long time. I would walk up the stairs and then I would fall down them. It was horrible. It was just a struggle. But eventually, everything started to come back to me. I was able to start school again. And at the time when this happened, I had been a double major, about to graduate in Russian history and anthropology. And so I tried to start school back, but my short and my long-term memory had been so greatly affected, I could not remember anything that I had learned. And it was just really frustrating. I didn't understand what God was doing to me. I had to start back over as a freshman. I looked the same on the outside, but the way my brain rewired itself, I have a totally different personality now than I do then. And I was just experiencing all these emotions that I had no clue what was going on with me, but the doctors had never experienced anything like this before. So they didn't know how to tell me what was going on with myself. And so I had all of this that I was just struggling with. And instead of turning to God for what to do, because he had saved me, and that would be, you know, that's what I should have done, the only way I knew how to deal with it was just to go back to doing drugs, and that's exactly what I did. And I was back on the methadone clinic. I was lying stupid lies to my parents on where I was going in the morning. Like, you know, it was so horrible, and it was worse than it was before. And you know, I was driving home one night, and I was just crying out to God, and I knew he had not saved me to be this hopeless drug addict. And so I was crying, and I said, God, you know, I will do whatever it takes, but I cannot live like this anymore. And the next day, I was at a park, and I had posted something on Facebook, and Rachel's like, what's going on? And I told her everything, and, you know, she knew, basically, that she had already come up here and gone through Teen Challenge. But she knew what I was struggling with. And I called her, and we talked, and she's like, you know, if you're serious about this, she's like, I'll call Becca, and I'll get you up here. And I think that was on a Wednesday. Monday I was up here. And God is just so amazing. Y'all, she didn't tell me that y'all had to detox before you came up here. And she didn't really tell me anything. I didn't even know what a program was. I thought it was a place where you learned how to cook and to clean and basically be a wife or something. I didn't really know. And so I was in total shock when I came up here. Yeah. But yeah, she didn't tell me that you had to detox either, and so I came up here like loaded, and I thought I was in Minnesota. It was horrible, but I was so sick, y'all, and each day I would just cry, because I literally went for a week and a half with no sleep at all, but each day God gave me the strength to make it one more day, to hold on one more day, and I knew God could deliver me right then from detoxing and from the sickness. But I, honest to God, believed that He wanted me to remember how sick I was, so that I would never in my life touch another drug again.
Jesus.
And that's exactly what He did. He saw me through it, and I'm still here today. Praise God. I never thought I would make it this far. Y'all, I slept with my suitcases next to my bed for the first month I was here. But, you know, He has been so good. He's given me a family here, because I was so close to my family at home. It was really hard for me to separate myself from them. But God gave me Pastor and Sister Michelle. I've been on vacation with them. I love them with all my heart. Brother David and Sister Robin and Rachel and John and Mama, of course, who came all the way up from Alabama. Thank you. I love you. I love you, Rachel. And I can't believe that we both went through this program. That's pretty cool. But so yeah. Anyway, God is so good. And you know what I had said on one of my testimonies before was, you know, it says that everything that has breath to give praise, you know, to God. And I didn't have another breath, you know, left to take. I didn't have a breath to cry out to Him for anything. But He saved me. And so now when I leave here, every day I'm going to give praise to God for the glory and the honor that He deserves for what He has done in my life. Thank you.